Meeting is called to order. Can we have the roll?
Danielle Bailey,
Here.
Greg Strike,
Here.
Andre Spinelli,
Here.
Jared Gardner,
Here.
Aaron O'Quinn,
Here.
Radhika Krishna,
Here.
Jim Winchester,
Here.
Brian Looney,
Here.
Seth Anderson is excused. Thank you.
Moving on to our next item on the agenda is disclosures. Commissioner Strike,
No disclosures.
Commissioner Spinelli,
Nothing.
Commissioner Gardner,
No disclosures.
Commissioner O'Quinn,
None.
Commissioner Krishna,
No disclosures.
Commissioner Winchester,
No disclosures.
Commissioner Looney.
No disclosures.
All right, our next item on the agenda is public hearing number case 2020-0141. I'll go ahead and read the public comment procedure, if I can find it in my packet. The procedure by which the public may speak to the commission at its meetings is as follows. After the staff presentation is completed on public hearing items, the chair will ask for public testimony on the issue. Persons who wish to testify will follow the time limits established in the commission rules of procedure. Petitioners, including all of their representatives, will receive 10 minutes. Part of this time may be reserved for rebuttal. Representatives of groups such as community councils and PTAs will receive 5 minutes. Individuals will receive 3 minutes. When your testimony is complete, you may be asked questions by the commission. You may only testify once on any issue unless questioned by the commission. An individual may have appeal rights relating to any action the Planning and Zoning Commission takes, except for commission recommendations to the Assembly, which are not appealable. Appeals must be filed with the clerk's office within 20 days after their approval by the Planning and Zoning Commission of the resolution, which is the commission's final decision. A fee for the appeal is required at the time of filing. Staff, can we hear the report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Case 2020-0141 is a request for a conditional use approval to allow an adult daycare facility in the R2M zoning district. The site has existing structures that are currently used as a child care facility. The proposed adult daycare facility will be a change of use for this site. The Planning Department finds that this request meets the conditional use approval criteria of AMC 2103-080D. The Anchorage 2040 Land Use Plan designates this area as compact mixed residential, low density, in a transit supportive development. The proposed project will reuse an existing building originally designed for a child care facility, and it meets the 2040 Land Use Plan Goal 2.3 to remove barriers to desired infill development and incorporate flexibility in development requirements to promote adaptive reuse of old buildings and compact infill redevelopment, including that which reflects traditional urban neighborhood design contexts. The development and design requirements of standard number 1 are mostly met. Some of the standards have requested conditions of approval. An on-site pedestrian walkway with a minimum clear width of 5 feet to connect the primary entrance of the building to the abutting primary street frontage is required per AMC 2107-060E4B. The site plan on page 52 of your staff packet shows a concrete sidewalk from the existing 2-story building to the street. However, details for the physical separation of the sidewalk from the parking and driveway were not provided. A requested condition of approval is for the information for the physical separation of the sidewalk from the driveway and parking area to be submitted to the Planning Department for approval. Site and parking lot perimeter landscaping is required at the north and west lot lines and at a portion of the east and south lot lines. Buffer landscaping is required at portions of the south and east lot lines. The Urban Design Commission approved variance case 2020-0132 on November 18th to allow the existing landscaping abutting the north lot line at West 19th Avenue to remain instead of the required L1 visual enhancement landscaping. A landscape plan was not provided for this conditional use application. A requested condition of approval is for a landscape plan showing the required buffer and perimeter landscaping at the east, west, and south lot lines to be submitted to the Planning Department for review and approval. The proposed adult daycare use requires 24 parking spaces. The site plan on page 52 of your packet shows 27 parking spaces on the lot. 4 of the parking spaces at the east side of the building do not meet the requirement for separation from the building as required in 2107-090H7. This section requires parking spaces to be separated from the building by a walkway or site enhancement landscaping area of at least 4 feet in width. A requested condition of approval is for the applicant to provide a revised parking layout showing all parking spaces with the required separation from the building to be approved by the municipal traffic engineer. The staff report indicates a Type B loading berth is required. This is an error, and per AMC 2107-090G2, Table 2107-6, a loading berth is not required for adult daycare services. It is requested that condition of approval 3C be modified to remove the requirement for a loading berth configuration. Standards number 2 and 3 are met. The proposed use is consistent with the intent of the R2M district, which is primarily intended for residential area that allows for a variety of dwellings. The district is located in order to create a transition between single and two-family uses to higher density multifamily and mixed-use areas. The proposed project is permitted in the R2M district with a conditional use approval, and it provides a needed service for the neighborhood. Standard number 4 is met. The lot size is appropriate for the proposed use. Standards number 5 and 6 are met. The proposed use is similar to the existing character of the area and will not alter, limit, or impair the use of the surrounding properties. The required buffer landscaping will mitigate any impacts to neighboring properties. Standard number 7 is met. The proposed use is not anticipated to create any adverse impact to the area. Standard number 8 is met. The proposed use is on a transit-supportive development corridor, and the site plan shows proposed improvements to the off-street parking and a new pedestrian connection to the street. Standard 9 is also met. The site is served by public facilities. In conclusion, the department finds that the approval criteria are met and therefore recommends approval of the conditional use subject to the conditions of approval on page 8 of the staff packet. I will be happy to answer any questions the commission may have.
Any questions for the staff from the commission? Commissioner Krishna?
Thank you. Yeah, I have 2 questions. One is that I see that the site could be permitted for an adult care facility with 9 or more people, due to the lot size and things like that. Could you clarify how many people this facility is intended to serve?
This facility is intended to be a large adult care facility. The applicant didn't specify the exact number, but it will serve greater than 16 adults.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that number in the packet, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. I just have one more question, which is about in the project narrative, I think the applicant stated that they'd like to retain the existing conditional use for child care facility. Could you clarify a little bit about whether that's possible and any other information that's available about sort of retaining 2 different conditional uses for a single site?
So a conditional use remains with the site as long as it is currently active and as long as the use doesn't go away or change. Without the child care facility, the planning department has determined that this adult care facility would replace that. If the child care use were to remain on the site, then the child care conditional use would also remain. You could have the 2 concurrent, but when one use is not on the site and it is replaced by a different use, then the child care use would go away.
That's very helpful.
Commissioner Gardner?
Yeah, thank you. I have just one question, and it relates to the comments the traffic department provided about, looks like they asked for a condition to adjust drop-off and pickup spaces for the facility. and then also maybe eliminating the parking on the east property boundary. It wasn't clear to me exactly what their comment was going at. I assume some option to kind of have in place there a location for drop-off and pickup, but I wasn't entirely clear, and I was wondering if you had any additional understanding as to what that comment was about and the conclusion to not specifically address any condition related to that, at least as I see it or understand it.
So there is a condition of approval for the parking layout to be approved by the municipal traffic engineer. The comments from the traffic engineer about the east parking spaces are turning and maneuvering in the alleyway. And that will be addressed with the approved traffic, the condition to require municipal traffic approval.
Okay. Thank you. That answers my question. I appreciate it.
Seeing no other questions in the queue, can we hear from the petitioner?
Good evening. Name's Craig Bennett. That's Bennett, and I'm the petitioner's representative tonight. And start off saying we've been working with staff pretty extensively on this CUP, and it's been great working with traffic a lot. Been talking to traffic today about it. And we agree with the 3 conditions that the department recommends, and I'm just here to answer any questions the chair or board may have for me.
Thank you. Any questions for the petitioner? Seeing no questions in the queue, I guess I will ask the petitioner. One of the commissioners asked staff earlier how many adults this care facility was planning to service, and I was wondering if you had a more specific answer other than 17 or more.
Not really. That's it's going to be kind of dependent on, I guess, at the time how many people use it, but it is a large facility, and over 9 and probably over 17. But yes, but large facility.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I see no other questions in the queue. Staff, do we have any public comments?
No, Madam Chair, we do not.
All right, then, going back to the petitioner, you do have 9 minutes and 25 seconds remaining for rebuttal, if you would like to use it.
I don't have anything more unless the board has any other questions for me, but thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gardner, you have a question for staff?
Yes, thanks. I just wanted to confirm that I heard correctly with respect to the change in the recommended conditions of approval, and was that request to eliminate in 3C the requirement to get traffic approval for the loading berth configuration?
That was condition of approval 3C. You can just drop the loading berth configuration from the end of that condition.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no other questions in the queue, what's the will of the body? Commissioner Krishna?
Yeah, in the matter of case 2020-0141, conditional use to allow an adult care facility in the R2M zoning district, I move to approve.
And just for clarification, is that subject to the conditions on page 8 of our packet as amended by staff?
Yes, that's correct. Subject to the conditions with the amendment to 3C, if I understood that last bit correctly.
So moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner
Second.
Gardner. Commissioner Christian, would you like to speak to your motion?
Sure. I think that we did not hear any public testimony opposing this. The current use is fairly similar to the already existing conditional use for childcare, and consistent with the comprehensive plan and the sort of surrounding character of the neighborhood. So with those being the reasons, move to approve.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to comment on the motion? Seeing no one else in the queue, call for a vote.
Mr. O'Quinn?
Yes.
Mr. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. Looney?
Yes.
Mr. Strike?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Winchester?
Yes.
Ms. Krishna?
Yes.
And Chair Bailey?
Yes,
Thank you.
that motion passes. I would like to thank the petitioner for their time.
Move to adjourn.
So moved by Commissioner Spinelli. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by, I believe, Commissioner Strike.
Correct.
Seeing no one else opposing, we are adjourned. Thank you all.